Okay.
Okay. Well, declare the first ever meeting of the Marketing Committee open. Welcome to the councillors who can join us. So we're just going to work through the agendas. The first one, 2601, is apologies for absence. And we have apologies from
Councillor Clark, Councillor Osborne, Councillor Fuller, and from Hannah Morgan.
Do I see you can accept those apologies? No? Okay, great. Thank you. Second one, 2602, declarations of interest. We need to receive and consider any declarations of interest for members under section 50 of the Local Government Act 2000. So this requirement applies only in respect of matters which are considered at the council at this meeting. So first of all, 260201 to declare any disposable pecuniary interests. 260202 to declare any other interests. Okay, great. We've got representation from interested parties. I don't see any at the moment. Consideration from request from interested parties. We don't have any. 2605 minutes the previous meeting. Well, as this is the first one, we don't have any minutes of the previous meeting. We did have some from the working party, but we're starting fresh from this. So let's get on to the meat really of the meeting. 2606 marketing matters. 260601 to receive an update on social media collaboration with Quibble and reprove next steps. Hopefully you've all just got the report from Anna at Quibble. They officially started on the 1st of June, so they've only had 16 days. But I got to tell you, I was pretty impressed by that report and what they've been doing. Rebecca has also sent out some information on some of the ideas that they have been pushing out, and I'll circulate that if you haven't seen it to the members. We have already started out of the Facebook page, primarily looking at the upcoming events, the food market and a few others. They're doing essentially between 2 and 3 posts per week. They're going out, but they're reported very well on the annual town meeting, including community awards, all of those things like that. So time will tell on the pickup and everything on this, but I must admit, I've been pretty impressed with that. At the end of the town meeting, she did do interviews with Simon Dove, the NNC councillor, and also with the local MP, Lee Barrett. So those will come out in due course. Okay.
So this is the Love Oundle Facebook page, is it?
This is the Facebook page for Love Oundle, and also I think she put it on the Facebook page for Oundle Town Council as well. Yes. Yeah, we've got 2.
And is the town council still posting separately?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Yes. So that actually brings up a point. Rebecca's not here tonight, but I think we probably need to in the future need to consider how we manage that, because I think we need to ensure it's okay at the moment, but down the line there's a consistent theme, consistent messaging going out. Anna has said that she would quite like to attend a couple of these meetings over the year, which I think is an extremely good idea. So I think that would be great. Maybe in a future meeting we could have a discussion on that and how we manage those particular inputs into the various social media channels and create themes coming through and what we're doing. I'll come back on the matter on the agenda on themes, but I think it's important we look at that and we plan ahead for say 6 months. It can always change, but it has to be. I think it needs to be controlled, needs to be themed as we move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, it does depend on what you want Anna to do, because obviously we get a lot of stuff come in via NNC and all sorts of different places, and things that we're doing that aren't necessarily something you have a big video, but it's information that we have to put out. So do you want her just bothering to do the ordinary everyday stuff that we do, or we continue to do that and then she comes in and
I think that's what we need to agree on.
Yeah.
The right format. There's only a few of us here, but I think my view, I think you would probably continue to do this statutory information, and that needs to go out. That will go out on the Facebook page and on oundle.gov.uk, whereas Anna will probably concentrate more on Love Oundle in terms of the residents and trying to attract new visitors in, and then that will probably be a far wider audience. But we're feeling our way here. We're only going 16 days, but I'm pretty impressed with already what she's done. And also looking at the website statistics, she's looking at a more digital overview of what our reach and everything is.
Mhm.
And when we combine that with some of the place informatics data, I think it's going to start becoming very interesting as we move forward in this process. So I think
Just on that point around what's shared on each channel. Here, the open gardens were shared in our council Facebook page, which strikes me as more relevant on the land page, because you know those on the council page is the community award, that seems appropriate, but open gardens probably.
you see, this is where I'm coming from. I think Rebecca probably posted the gardens because she may not be aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is the sort of learning curve.
It's like it's sort of two side by side, but actually that should fit in here naturally, and gives us greater focus to what's now open
Mhm.
Facebook feed. So I think it's going to create some clarity with it.
I agree, and I think it may come down to a quick meeting every month, not as part of this committee, but it's still more of a strategy meeting to say, right, what are we going to do over the next 4 weeks? What information are coming out? What statutory items we think is going to go out, and what other items are going to go? And so everybody's clear what's being communicated, because there could be some overlap.
Yeah.
And to reinforce something.
It's the who's, the what's, the where.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but I'm just, is there any other comments on Anna's report? I think it was really comprehensive. Yeah.
And she also turned up at the council day
Yes.
and town meeting.
She will also have Lily, one of her sidekicks. Rebecca's made her a press pass, and she will be at the food festival as well, doing interviews and doing various technical pitches and stuff. So which is great. So we'll be able to get all that out in due course. Okay, good. The proof, the next steps, I'm not sure what the next steps of the proof is really just to make sure that the communication between Rebecca and Quibble is top notch, and we can mentor work on that. All right. The next one, which is probably going to take us a little bit of time, is to look at the cutted fish, which is a Love Handle website refresh, and approve the next steps there. I sent something out this afternoon. You may have, I'm going to try and get it up online here so you can see. This is a further development of what we saw wrong that they did. Yeah, that they did. Yeah. So this is
It's probably just taking its time. I don't know. It loaded up
maps. Maybe anyone,
loaded up perfectly okay before.
The figure.
Just going to go and see if I can. I'll just go and see if I can pick it up from.
yeah, I haven't heard of it. No.
No, I hadn't.
So we're going ahead with Love Animal, not Visit Animal.
At this present moment of time, primarily because it's easier for Google search and everything else is there. There is a debate whether we want to move it to Visit Animal, but if we start moving into Visit Animals, you can see when we look at the designs, it still goes a little bit more towards the Love Animal thing. I have it up here, so.
I think it's got so much stuff
Yeah, just
in. It's just.
Oh, there you go.
Mm.
This can be changed to Visit quite easily if we wanted to go down that road.
I just thought the more you push Love Animal, the more the stats are going to be Love Animal, the more difficult it is to ever change. I still think personally that anybody visiting Aldor would not be looking for Love Animal because it's sort of a strange. It's not normal. Most people look at Visit Britain, visit this, visit that, visit whatever. So I think long-term search, Love Animal is going to be limited.
We own the name for visits.
We own the domain. We own that as well. Yeah,
Is there a way?
Yeah, equivalent. We can talk to Cuttlefish about that. I think there is a way of linking it. My original viewpoint was that if we go to the website itself colour, just click on the blue box.
No, I'm not getting it's not. There's no link
Okay.
on that.
When you come, there it
Oh,
is.
there it
Yeah,
is.
so- and then scroll down just a touch. And I'm looking at this, and I think we look at the pagination here, because what we've got is Love Island Come Visit Us, which is great, but the main navigation is a little bit lower down.
I can't. Just move to
Scroll
page.
down the way, it says scroll or.
I mean, I've got nowhere to scroll down.
Actually,
Hang on,
just put your.
let me open that up.
Just go to the website again, and then just put your cursor on the white area, and then scroll down. Should scroll. No scroll?
No, no.
Okay. Okay, just below those pictures are bars saying, "Come visit us, living in Eldor." My viewpoint, I think that needs to be slightly more prominent rather than below
There we go.
the first I page.
You can just, they're on page 2, you can just see them.
Is it page 2?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I think that needs to be more prominent
At the front.
at the front.
Yeah.
Because going back to your visit handle is, my view is down the line, and maybe we can do this straight away. Anybody clicking to come visit us goes to visit handle.
I think so.
And then love handle remains, and we gradually move those. They can be marketed together and be linked and all the rest of it. But if that's the opinion of the
I think it's a
committee,
better transition, because
Yeah.
you're saying that the people, I don't know how many people use it, I don't think it's statistics, but assuming that people in Albion, know
the one I look is on the proposed report.
okay, and they use it. But anybody new won't know anything about Albion or not much, so to go to visit Albion is going to start that journey for them, and then over time you can look at the statistics and say, right, what's going on here? Do we need, because both sites can put it in the same place, can't they?
Yes.
I mean, both sides can host it.
Yes, yeah. Basically, that was my original thought, because then we go down as we move forward, there'll be more separation. So the external tourism visitor to Andor, visit Andor, internal residents is like. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely more prominent right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because if you hit that page where it says Love Outdoor,
But where do we go?
that's where you want to click, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
If you're interested.
I think, quite honestly, it should be a bar, maybe directly under Love Andor.
Yeah.
And then come visit us or whatever.
Just move it up.
Just move it up.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the actual design? Emma, do you want to sort of flick through a couple of pages? I actually quite like it. I think it's straightforward, it's easy, you quickly get the information. There's a lot of images, there's plenty of content that we can fill. One question has been brought up, and I don't have the answer for it, so I'm very interested in your opinion. Is the colour scheme? What do you think of the red? Or do we want to bring it more to the more Aldor traditional colours, which is blue?
I guess if we make it more blue, it's then more difficult to distinguish from the
Yeah.
site.
Yeah.
I think one of the things going into this was to differentiate more clearly, because they are very different entities.
Mm.
I'm not a huge fan of the red,
No, I'm
No,
not.
I'm not.
Hmm.
but the more I like this, you go to blue.
Well, I was unsure that I was very used to the love heart red on Love Outdoor, that you think of a love heart being that colour. This is a bit sort of orangey, maroony red.
It's not really red, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so because of the pricing, and there are too many revisions, but why don't we ask them to come back with 2 or 3 more colorways that we can have a look at?
Yeah.
We probably need to make a decision probably before the next committee meeting, so because of the speed and what they have to do to get that up and running, so we can look at that, maybe we can meet as a group and just say,
I don't think changing the colour is a big deal.
It's not a big deal, but we just have to get it right.
I mean, even if you leave the top as a proper red, as Emma said, that's not a proper red, but you know, red. But the outer bridge club bit and whatever else should be a different colour because
Yeah.
otherwise you've got clashing.
Or, you know, there's the other way around. You go to the visit outdoor, which is the visitors, that's a particular colour. You go to the residence outlet, that's another colour as well. So you have to differentiate that as well. So, okay, we'll have a conversation with Fish on that.
And do we think that with all the reds, like the search?
Yeah, it would have to be all
Yeah.
great.
Do you have a preference for what we would suggest? Burning colour.
Well, I mean, the blue, this sort of darkish blue, it's probably got a proper name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably a proper name for that.
Yeah.
But whatever that is dark blue. Could be light blue. Light blue is quite on trend.
It is pretty on trend.
And then you're sort of, you know, in your mind, you've got this albert blue, but it's a different sort of shade of blue. So I think that could work.
I'm not sure about that with a heart though. I've just got,
No, leave the heart red.
but then that you're going to have, I don't think,
It's difficult, because what they've done is they've taken the heart.
Yeah, they've-
And they've moved it through everything else. So I understand it, but
But the heart, it is only on the front page.
Hearts sort of are red. You know,
pardon?
Yeah.
heart generally. If they said what colours normally a heart, red is sort
Mm.
of so I would suggest perhaps a lighter blue than the town council side blue.
All right,
yeah, because my worry is that too much red looks hearts.
great.
Looks like a cheap bulb.
Yeah, yeah,
So
no.
that's what we want. Yeah,
absolutely.
correct.
We can have a heart in a pink
Mm.
blue colour.
Well, let's have a look at the inside. That's what we're
Yeah.
for. So I think we do that. I'm glad we're all looking at it. But not quite right. Okay, but this is why we want to look at all of this. We did have a conversation with regard to maps, and we're going to keep one set of maps for market traders, another set of maps for basic businesses. I think I suggested maybe we have one for parking, but we've actually parked that. So we've got a spare map we can put in at a later
What does
date.
that mean? That
Map is a map that shows the actual
Oh,
location.
a map, okay. Physical map.
Yeah, a physical map.
So where would be there's development maps then?
There's maps with market traders and businesses, if I remember right. I think so. Okay, right, yes.
Where they are.
Where they are, yeah. So where the businesses are, so where are the restaurants, where are the various businesses there? So I think there's a conversation actually down the line that we have with the OBA, because I think there's probably some work we can do together to make sure all businesses are promoted the best way possible. So,
Yeah, the existing Love Albert website will go off when this goes on.
yes, that's correct.
So we don't need to.
The plan is,
update the existing.
No.
It's good because it's way out.
the idea is hopefully we'll get this within the next 4 weeks. That's what we're looking at.
So the first two, second and third could be sites of interest.
Sites of interest.
So a museum, church,
Mm.
elements of the school ground, bucket vibration, water school, once you arrive in here, or
Yeah,
the business owners will tell you where
Yes.
to buy stuff,
yes,
not where to wander,
yes.
Yeah,
not
that's
where
true.
to water.
So if you're a visitor, you probably want to know where stuff is.
Yeah.
Also, just on that, there is a walking a walking thing guide, isn't there?
Yeah,
And
there is.
it was on there somewhere as well.
Yeah, we'll be on that.
So if Rob's idea goes with other places, then the walking guide, wherever that goes, could be shown on the.
Well, the whole idea with maps is, I think that's why I was quite happy to keep one in reserve, because one of the recommendations coming out of the NBA studies was to do like a heritage trail, which is a little bit more than we've actually got on the walking.
Right.
So I was trying to hold it back because we've only got 3 maps to have it as like the heritage trail, so we can move it. Now, that is going to take us some time down the line because I think we're going to have involvement of the Historical Society and a few other people in. And then the actual physical putting a heritage trail in, be it QR codes, and then it starts a whole set of problems with estates and people's houses and where do we put these things. But I know that is an aim that we want to go to. That's why I was holding the map back, to be honest.
The current heritage trail is on the Love website.
Yeah.
A lot of nice elements to it.
Yeah.
You can navigate and click through. So, they've got the full trail.
Yeah. Yeah, they will take those details anyway, but the actual physical opportunity to design a map that we have on the Cuthbert's template is what I was looking at, maybe updating that.
Yeah.
A bit more. All right. Anything else while we go back? Because quite honestly, we don't have many reiterations of this.
I mean, I'd be happy to take Rob's idea as is there, if later on it can be changed.
Yeah, it can be.
Because at least there's something there, and it is giving you a wider scope.
I think next year, there's a note that what we'll do is what we budget for our budgeting next year, we will have a maintenance budget for changes and for this.
I can't go onto the actual website myself.
All right.
Anything else that you feel that
I've gone through it. I actually quite like the whole idea and the way that they're presenting it. This is a tried and true because they've done it for about 3 or 4 other town councils and everything. It used to working. I like it. It's very simple. It's straightforward, and it's a great base. And it's certainly a massive improvement on Love Anvil as it is today.
Are you happy with the direction it's going in this thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks better than the current Lavandle, because I think that's quite cluttered with a lot of stuff, and so having it much more, a simpler, but you can see where everything is. It's just that it was just the red I wasn't sure about, and I can't get over that at the minute.
The only thing I have got apart from that is we do have a what's on page, and we were pretty specific in that we wanted to get a calendar, which is scrollable, which is also clickable. And I haven't seen that on this now. Now, whether they're still developing that, they did say it was a module that they could add, and they could add it in as well. So it will be able to be clickable. Let's just say something at the school, and you go buy tickets to the style, and you click through to that.
There was something in their report, because we had one report, and then I think Rebecca went back to them, and then they come back to it. So I can't remember exactly which one, but somewhere in there, it did talk about this.
It is, and I haven't seen it. So,
I can't quite remember what they said about it. But that is quite, I mean, again, maybe not right now, but it is quite important to have at some point, isn't it?
very,
What's on.
I think the success of the great brochure that Creative Owl has done for the summer stuff, that can be replicated online. And if we can do something like that, would be brilliant. They actually said when we asked them is if we have a bulk like that, we can actually send it to them and they will load it in bulk for us. Which will say, because one of the big questions coming back about Love Anvil was the amount of work that Rebecca or whoever had to do is to load each individual thing currently. So they would be able to load them in bulk. So which is
And then we can just add.
yeah. So Outlook Festival Literature, we know that the stuff going ahead in the next 6 months, load them bulk, which would be great. All right. Okay. Anything else? So proof next step is really go back, have a conversation with them, and look at the color schemes and the various elements of it and stuff.
My only question was in terms of implementation, once we're happy with the redesign, is there a transition period, or does it just go off? The code bundle disappears and immediately gets replaced.
That's what happens.
The instant,
There's maybe 3 minutes while it loads or whatever. It just Love Anvil goes under maintenance and then 5 minutes later it comes back.
Are we going to, before any final decisions being made, share it with the rest of the council before we sign off on it?
We could do, I'll be honest, I don't want to necessarily get into a massive.
I know, but I'm just.
Well, that's what the committee was formed to make those decisions.
and which will be for what purpose? I understand the need to consult, but unless there's a specific purpose that we're asking full council, something that we can't.
But I just feel, should it be presented? I mean, if we're happy with it, should it be presented to them?
I would say
But if you
yes.
do that, you've got to be prepared for,
Yeah, I think it's a very good suggestion. I think if it was presented at the next full council, whenever it fits in,
It would fit in.
whenever it presented, not for any ideas about colours or font,
Yeah.
but any major objections.
Mhm.
Because if somebody does have any major objection, it's good we know about it before.
Yeah.
That's fine.
that's
So
what I
if
mean,
it's
yeah.
just like, oh, next time I'd rather green and blue or this and that.
Yeah.
Okay, you can put next time, but for the minute, I think it's a good.
But there
That's
just might be something that we've not
Yeah.
thought. I know,
Timing's right, because
Yeah.
if we then say to Cuttlefish, right, it needs to be up and running and done for the July, because I don't want to wait, next one's September. So I don't want to wait that long. So if we can get it in July, that's fine. I think they're on that time,
Mhm.
so it's not a problem.
Are you sure it's all yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is, when are you going to have another marketing committee meeting? So would you have that before that meeting?
I think we'd probably have to call the extraordinary one to be able to agree it and get it done.
Because this group will have to agree it before it then goes.
Yeah, we probably have to call a special one just to, that's a one-off to
Mm.
get it approved.
And then present it to the
Present
council.
yeah.
I just think, before that other one disappears and this one arrives, the rest of the council really just need to be on board with it at least.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mm.
Okay, we can do that. Okay. The next item on the agenda is to receive an update from Place Informatics 260603. I know that I had a meeting or a call with them yesterday. Was it yesterday? Emma? Or email.
Yes, I have some notes. Right. The Christmas market, she can't access that because it wasn't her that asked for it. She's unable to access it. So I don't even know if it's there.
That's what's strange. I sent it to her, and it's there on site. So I
Well,
can pull it out.
she's put here, she doesn't have access to it. But anyway, so
Is that the stats so we talk about?
yeah.
I'm just going to check it right now. Just to make sure, but yeah. Okay.
She's requested a report on the Vintage Festival and the Farmers Market. Both won't be available until the 20th of June, though. She's also requested a report for the Food Festival. That won't be available until the 20th of July. She's requested a report for the Open Gardens held yesterday, but again won't be available until the 20th of July.
So it takes about
About a month.
a month.
Yeah.
for a record.
Yeah.
At the moment, she can only see the footfall up to April 2026. May's not available yet. And the Business Association would like a paragraph about the data on infographics on a monthly basis. And I think she just wants, is it Marcello? Yeah.
Marcelo,
Yeah, she's going to speak to him just to sort of see what she can and can't share, because obviously she doesn't want to share something that's not quite right or doesn't mean anything. So she's working with him to.
Yes, I think we had a slightly disappointing turnout, but we did have an OPA meeting to talk about Place Informatics, and we did get quite a few good questions. So that seemed to go down quite well for people here, and then still where they're coming from. So that was very good piece of information. But I did say that anybody who was particularly interested in an in-depth dive for such things as the confidential business case, if they're going through loans or financial or anything to do with their business, feel free to contact us directly and we'll consider it, and then we can always go in and have a deep dive and give them any information that they require for that. But we wouldn't be releasing a lot of that information because there's far too much to discuss.
Yeah.
So I think Rebecca was asking for something informatic or whatever that she could release monthly.
Yeah.
Correct. That was, which is going to go on to the OVA's let you know.
Who was here from the committee? and everything?
Philip,
Philip.
yeah, was his name.
Is Philip going to update the do you think?
I don't know, maybe or I can.
Could you?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Just go back to Christmas market. I've got it here, and I'm maybe looking in the wrong place. I've got it here. Event footfall 3,708.
Yeah.
So it's all the information's here.
Mhm.
So you can print it out.
Event footfall was what
3,708
for the Christmas market?
And you don't know what it was previously.
No.
What
Well,
would
we
you-
know
what
the
would
date before the football. In other words, the previous Saturday
you- Yes,
was 2,551. So you've got a 1,500 increase. Up to-
50%.
yeah, 45% actually. So
Sorry, on the previous one.
the previous Saturday
Okay.
was 2,551. So you've got a 45% increase in traffic because of the Christmas market.
Hmm.
And if it takes into account people who've already lived in Hampton.
Hmm.
I've not seen the individual report because you can't see the individual report. So does it link out to postcodes?
Yes.
Transit to understand if the additional 1,500 were
Mm.
from outside.
Yes, it does, because it goes into origin and by distance, and the vast majority of people live within 10 miles.
Okay.
Live within 10 miles. It's all here, we can print it out.
Okay.
so, I mean, as I understand it, the benefit of having this is that's the benchmark. So next year, when we do the Christmas market,
Yeah.
we can take that into account and say, if we maybe put an advertisement in a specific area,
We can see,
see if
Mhm.
that brings in more people. So don't put in 20 adverts that cost us £2,000, put in one advert or two that cost 200. And then if those postcodes or areas come up, then we know there's more people.
I'm going to be discussing that in an agenda item a bit later, because it's one of the things.
So it comes from people's phones,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So how does it? Because I'm just wondering, when you think about the students at Oundle School that are constantly walking in and out of the town.
What it does, it takes things from people's phones, but it also refers back to where theoretically, due to trend analysis, they think they live. So in other words, if you're living in PE4 and that's where all your phones bouncing, they assume that you live there. So they use that as the base point to say, okay, then you're a visitor coming into Oundle. In school, the school stuff is all being excluded. Because we're not allowed to, school and residential is not counted.
Okay.
in this.
But did you mean that if I go into town 10 times in one day?
Yeah,
Yes.
and spend something. Yeah.
It wouldn't count as 10.
Mm.
And again, I mean, a question came up at the town meeting about this. It's a good question. But the fact is that you have to do it versus last time.
Mm.
That's what it's going to be for the most useful. So it's a good baseline, because we could say, well, is there a town similar to Oundle in size with similar sort of facilities? And if there is, are they getting more visitors than us? But from our own town point of view, next time you do a farmer's market and you've got two, you can have a look at it, and you might even know. You might say, do you know what? Because there were 3 stores couldn't come that time, because that could have been one of the reasons why footfall was down. Or we've got a new store and we advertise it a lot, and the footfall was up.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's all about that, isn't it?
It's all about that, and that's why we have to do the events separately, because in the normal scheme of things, we don't count traffic on roads. But because the market happens to be on roads, they have to change the algorithm to count. Because
Okay.
it's on roads.
Just one like general considerations of those informatics. Clearly, it's costing us, and the value comes from a year-on-year comparison. But later this year, we should make a good case for future funding. So all the events that get in reports for competitions with the OBA,
Mm.
ways in which we bring in the insights to inform marketing strategy. Should be something we put a business case together for later in the year.
Absolutely.
So it's now we've got this form of faith, what we should think.
Think ahead
Maybe
now.
in November meeting, for instance, we dedicate time thinking about how we can do all that. So
Probably October actually, because of just
Yeah.
the timing stuff. No, good breakdown, for instance, it comes down to, I think that most people came from PEA, the next one was NN18, and the next one was NN9. So it gives you an idea of where everything's going. All right. Okey-dokey. To receive the budget on marketing communications, I put this in, and I'd like this on a regular basis. It's nothing fancy. I just want to know where we are, what we've spent so far, and how much we've got left in case, because I think we're pretty thin on the ground in terms of discretionary spend. So I just want to know where we are and
Yeah.
how we're doing it. Now, I'm assuming as we have a new financial officer, this is probably not ready yet, but just
Well, I've included the monthly budget in
Right.
there, so
okay. Good.
it will show you how much has been spent so far.
Great, excellent. Okay, yeah, that's all. I just wanted to say that's why.
So that's what rather than trying to produce anything else, that's what I thought we'd work from.
Yeah, that's fine.
And if
What was it on?
it's Fletton House,
184.
You got it.
7273.
mm,
Marketing.
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're 17% after 2 months.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm concerned about is I want to see it when we get the final bills paid for the cuttlefish one, which will be another big bill.
Mhm.
The quibble one is on a monthly basis, so we know.
Yeah.
What would be great is to see, right, what is our running monthly spend, especially on adverts, and then look at that and compare that with the buckets that we had put into the marketing plan.
that's not in the marketing budget though. What we spend on adverts and things that comes out of what's it called? Newsletters and publishing or something.
What number is that one?
Okay, then this is where I was getting so confused in the budget process, and I really want to tie down this next year.
Well, we'll just find out. So what line is that? 7?
I've got a feeling it's, well, I know it's 7140.
It's in there, is it? No, that's 714. 7140.
Because if you remember, that's 26,000 literally was for the things that we'd got quotes for.
I've got a 7140.
It's comms, no, website.
Yeah,
Is that,
Which one? Which number?
that is
7104. Did I say
Oh,
40?
7140. Oh, Collins is the website. Okay, so there's another 2,300 there.
Okay.
And that's where.
But then that covers other stuff. That covers, yeah. Mm.
Things that you do anyway.
Yeah. Because if you remember, that 26,000 literally was
I know,
the
every-
revamp of the website, the social media, the list of things that the marketing working party came up with. So what you don't want to do is start adding in all the other money that we spend on everything else,
Okay,
because
that's fine.
we'll blow your budget before we've paid for everything.
No, that's fine. But that's why I was wanting to try and track it. So when
Mm.
we can track those two, that would be great. And then we'll go from there. It's actually quite good news because in my mind, I had some of that money.
There's a bill to be paid tonight, so
Okay.
Just on the figures that go here. So would the figure be put in there when we receive the invoice and we pay it?
sorry.
So you've got figures here to the end of
Yeah, that's as of the end of May. Yeah,
invoice or paid or
paid.
paid.
Paid. So any income we've received before then, anything we've paid before then.
Okay, great. Right. Well, we just started, so I wanted in there, so we just have a quick look at it, make sure we're not
Yeah.
running over, and there's no sort of hiccups, so we don't have any surprises. Okay, to receive the marketing of the food festival, just for information, just know what's going on, where it's going. Primarily, we're related sometimes to place informatics and see if, I don't think we've done anything, but I'm just interested to see what we've done and what we've spent on the food market, because then it will correlate to say, okay, we spent 300 quid on advertising, whatever it is, and we've got X amount of visitors. That starts setting the baseline. So, what did we? So I have no idea.
I've not looked that up because I wasn't aware that I had to.
No, okay. Well, it's just the marketing of the food festival. So if
Mhm.
we could, that would be really, really interesting, because we really need to pin down what are we spending on the markets. I think both what we're spending on the weekly market, what we're spending on the monthly farmers market, and what we're spending on the festivals, because that needs to correlate coming back to having a look at the visitors' numbers coming in as well. And so
There's other things that we do spend, so it's not just marketing, and advertising. There's a lot of other things. So, like the food festival budget will include things like first aid cover, marshals,
that's fine.
all of that.
Is there any way we can break down exactly what we spend on advertising?
Mhm. Yeah, that can.
I think that would be quite useful.
Yeah. And who's centrally involved in all the marketing, so all the posters you see around, things you see in the magazines, is that Rebecca?
We advertise at the moment in Oundle Life, and we also advertise in the Oundle Advertiser. We do put some of the farmers' markets. We have an article in Nen Valley News once a year. I'm not sure that we use Nen Valley News now for Christmas and the food festival. I think we've moved more to Oundle Life and the Oundle Advertiser, and that's it.
It's just when we're starting to use agencies and everything now, we need to maximise the use of these agencies, in my opinion. So I think we need to start correlating almost all the communications and marketing that the council's going out, and it needs to come through. They're doing a great job, don't get me wrong, that's absolutely fine. But I think we just need to make sure everything's correlated and where everybody's going on it. We know when everything's going out, the agency's aware when we're going out, how, for instance, we were talking about themes earlier. The markets are a major theme. When are those going to be hit? What backing can we use to make sure they can be reinforced and that those messages can be reinforced? Things like that. I think it's really important that we have a timetable.
Well, Rebecca has done one for the Oundle Advertiser. I don't know if you remember back from the working party meetings. She used to give you a full schedule, also the dates when she needed copy by, the dates when it went out. So
that's great.
So we do have that.
That included all the markets and festivals. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
But also we know that spend. But any extra spend, you talked about the main news and we're spending on there. What's the cost on posters and where they're going? And there may be other areas that we can actually put some input in to try and increase that visibility of the market.
And actually on that, with Quibble, how much of an involvement proactive will they have in terms of consultancy? So we said to them, having this food festival in June, advisors on how to market it. So a lot of work that they've been doing has been reactive. We'll attend and take photos and we'll publish things on once things happen. But in this case, that's the Christmas festival not happened yet. When you involve them in the planning process so they can advise us on
I think
marketing.
as soon as possible. I think that's one of their. What I'm seeing it as one of their strengths.
Yeah.
So I think if we can do that and bring them in as part of the joining Parliament's committee, and we're talking about that and maybe building the strategic stuff as well. I'm talking about to be able to say, right, what are we doing? We should be planning for Christmas market now.
Yeah, and then they can work.
And then they can work with Rebecca directly and do it. And then we're all singing, dancing, the same energy.
That in an ideal world, that's great. But Rebecca does a lot of other stuff as well as this, and a lot of it has to fit in. So at the moment, the last month, 2 months is food festival. Once that's out of the way, then a little further on, we'll move into not so much, but Remembrance Day. There's a lot of work gets involved in that. But also, whilst we're doing that, that's when we'll be doing the Christmas market. So we start
I totally respect how much and really value the work that Rebecca does. I think what we're looking at here, we've got some additional resources. How can we make Rebecca's life easier?
Mhm.
How can we use the resource that we have to maximise what we're trying to do? So it's not saying we want to give Rebecca more, it's actually not. Almost less if we can do that. But to give us some help and advice and some other resources in there to make it more effective.
I think one of the things with digital is that if, gradually, because we've sort of had this resource, but it's not been maybe fully utilised, like that. If you have a digital version of something, because you've got to have that to go on the website, go on to social media, that almost is a thing you print, or you take to Outdoor Life, or you give to Outdoor Advertising, or whoever. So I see it more as the messaging that's going out, the specific, visuals, and then, okay, we know what they're going to be, so we can say to whoever's going to produce them, okay, let's have them to this date, and then it fits into whatever schedule Rebecca has to get things out to wherever it needs to go to. So it's more a case, I think, of rather than seeing, at the minute we're seeing red, we're very keen on red, in the past we've seen this, and we're not very keen on that. He's just saying, okay, well, just as we now going forward on a brand new site, let's get the colours right, let's get the feel of it right, let's get the basis of it right, and then as we add in what we do as a council to that, particularly for visitors, I know it's for town people, but particularly for visitors, then next year it'll be a lot easier because we've got all these places to go and ways to do it, and so Rebecca can say, right, okay, the schedule for the year is this, and it's going to be like that, and that. Exactly right. And she says that to Quibble, she says that to Cuttlefish, she says that to whoever needs it. And then they know if they're going to be part of it,
They're able to how to plan it.
they need to fit in with that way of doing things. Because as the representative of the council, Rebecca has the responsibility for what goes out there. If the problem comes in, we're not expecting an agency to deal with the problem, are we?
No.
So it ended up with Rebecca and Emma. So she's comfortable with it, the timing and all the rest of it, content. And then if there's a problem, well, sometimes you get them. But at least they know why they did what they did when they did it.
Just to your point, Emma, do you like to check that we're not putting extra pressure on
Yeah.
Rebecca? The intent actually is actually to relieve some pressure. So if we take the Christmas markets as an example, it will be useful, well, essential for us to work backwards now with Quibble so that they can work with her along the way so that she has less to do with it.
I mean, there'll be things that they won't be able to do, such as like working out the map of the market and where all the stalls and things are going, because that is so. It's just, I mean, she's already working closely with Anna anyway and talking to her as she is with Kim as well. So that relationship's going to grow. But I think, we've just got to be mindful that at the moment her job involves other admin stuff. And her job role is actually comms and admin. The marketing thing has come in. So there's a lot of, things that we've got to look at and just make sure that she's not being overloaded. And that's my job as a line manager to make sure.
100% agree. And I think this is why, as I said before, why these agencies are coming in to be able to assist. They have to be mental, they have to be kind of managed, and that's great experience for everybody's doing it, but it's not necessary to increase their particular workloads. I think the other element of what we're trying to do here is start to build brand download. It's the attributes of it. So in other words, we're starting to say, these are the colours we're going to use, these are the fonts, this is the type of style of stuff that we're going out, this is the type of digital marketing we're doing. And over a period of time, brand download will evolve. But we have to start somewhere, and that's why we just have to be coordinated, because you can't suddenly do sort of try and design brand download if you've got outliers over here doing something completely. Basically, we talked about the next agenda item, so I'm just going to, that's 26 or 6 or 6, consider the markets festivals we've done. The second one was to set up and agree a photography competition. This actually came out of, I think it was Anna said it, that a great way of getting free, very good digital images is to set up a photography competition. So I announced it, just said we've tried to do that at the annual meeting. I've also, Full of Ants has agreed very kindly to offer a bottle of bubbly every month to the winner, so which is great.
So we're only aiming at adults then.
Well, we can do lemonade. We can do non-alcoholic.
I mean, it's just that I don't know if you've seen. I literally just went on to AI because I thought, it sounds quite easy just to say, right, we're having a competition, but there is not. There's quite a lot of stuff that you've got to consider, and and that I hadn't even. I could have. It could have written the terms and conditions for the competition as well, but these were just some things that we've got to think about. So, you know, you have got to think about the age. You've also got to think on, are they just going to be using cameras? Are they going to be using phones? You have to, are you going to have different, you know, categories? Is it going to be called something like, I don't know, interesting views of Houndall, or I don't know, but there's a lot of things that you have to consider. And if it's a monthly thing, I don't know how that will work, but you normally have a competition deadline to get all your entries in, and then you work out your whoever's won in that particular category. Are you going to have semi-professional people? Are you going to have, you know, just amateurs?
Yeah, all really good points. My view was trying to keep it simplistic as possible, but I know it's difficult. We certainly have to make sure we have all the digital rights to anything.
Yeah, that's very important.
That's
Yeah.
Important. I think, quite honestly, I would limit it to still photography, no video to start with. We could section it off and have a under 18 or over 18. I'm not sure that professional photographers they're not getting paid for it, so they're not necessarily going to.
I know, but you never know. So you have to say who it's aimed at. So you don't have professional photographers sending in pictures.
The great photos. Let's look at the premise. The premise of this is to get the library of really nice digital images of animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the premise.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so I think Emma's point about monthly is probably very right. But surely I'm not disagreeing with the rest of it, but I think we would have a competition first, because if we have a competition that runs from whenever to whenever, at least we know it's going on and, you know, there's an end to it. So I think an end date, start and end date would be useful. And then the rest of it, I mean, when you say approve, the rest of it, I think we do need probably come with a bit more detail. So this is how it's going to work. Is that what we're approving? Here's the terms and conditions.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're just saying agree to set up. I think then we have to set it up.
I mean, is it a good idea to do it? Is I suppose today's version.
No, I think so. Yeah.
What I would say is we've got experience, some of the Flat Field OTC committee. What we've experienced there of 100 entries from the primary school designing the entrance archway.
Yeah.
And we've had to reverse engineer the process of selecting how we incorporate it. Okay. So actually it's an example of something that sounds simple. In reality, it's quite complex.
Yeah.
But in principle, if we can agree that getting a repository of good up-to-date images is what we're looking for, we will then have to sit down and properly work out what that would be. Our initial thoughts went towards a competition for a calendar for next year, because it gives us a deadline and a deliverable.
What's that? Okay.
The challenge there is there's already a calendar that we have to use.
Yeah, I think there's a couple, isn't there? I think do the library, but somebody else does.
Yeah. Because that means we then have to produce a calendar next year.
I was just looking at what we published on the website and that
We're
leaving
just
this out.
thinking about, I mean, it's, lots to work.
Okay.
But it gives us.
But I do think, so that we don't open ourselves up to, you know, people not being happy with how we've run the competition and things like that, we do need to make sure that we know exactly what we're asking for and what we're expecting and how it's going to be judged. And people need to know that. Yeah.
Independent chair.
Okay, so can we say decide to proceed with the point principle and
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. I think we're all agreed on that. That's fine. And then who's going to look at it? Is that you and I? Rob? Yeah. Okay. All right. Then we'll look at that. And we'll report back next month. Thank you. Right. So really onto the marketing communications working party element now. We've got to consider creating a residence newsletter. I think this was raised before in another meeting. I know that is going out now on the thing to sign up for that, but I'm not sure if a residence newsletter has been created. I'm just conscious as well of Rebecca's work person.
Well, as I recall it, what was agreed was that what's happening is happening. The URL thing's there. It's going out. It would be nice to have a link on that rather than just typing it monthly. So that's going out on the printed copy and on if you get Facebook communication or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember how I get it. Get a lot of stuff, and on there you can basically click to the newsletter. So what's happening at the moment is residents can sign up for the newsletter to come to them as an email. That's what that thing is. And therefore, that's the first step to having a database of residents communicating. We're communicating with them at the moment. But later on, should we decide that it'd be useful for, let's say we said, there's a few things coming up at the moment. I can't remember my full council. I don't want to say exactly because I can't remember. But there's a few things which we're going to probably go to the town for, we said. So if we decide we're going to go to the town, one of the ways we go is saying we've got 500 email addresses.
Yeah.
We'll put that to those 500 as well as putting it on Facebook, as well as putting it, and pretty good. So I think that's where we got last time. No,
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but
No, that's fine.
it wasn't to doing a separate thing for residents right this minute.
Because I think the actual what we're pushing out now, if that goes out, that's great because it's in addition to what's going on in Elder Life and advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
And Facebook.
yeah.
I've put in the folder some reports from MailChimp. I think there's April, May and June. So you'll see, the number of people we've got signed up, that sort of thing.
Right. Do you remember roughly how many it is?
Not off the top of my head. It's not thousands.
10,
Yeah,
not 100 yet.
I don't think so. I've got 58 in my head on one of
58, well, that's because before I think there were 10.
Yeah,
So
but that may have just been something else that I was
So
looking
the
at.
only request I would have is that next time the digital form that goes out, it's a link to click to sign up. Because you have to copy a URL and it's, although it's quite easy, not as easy.
Gavin, did you put that stuff in the first folder or the second folder?
It's in your Teams folder, and it's just
The MailChimp stuff?
Yeah.
down the bottom.
No, that was.
Let's check the context here. We're not proposing to have new, more newsletters.
No,
It is just
no.
proactively pushing out in a digital form the newsletters we already have to define.
Yeah.
By email, yes.
Okay, so that's the
Yeah.
Do we have the permissions built into it such that we could then use them for future proactive engagement?
If it's MailChimp, it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's MailChimp, they have all the permissions built in. We can use this for.
And it's worded in such a way that if you're.
I don't know what you'll have to ask.
Just thinking,
Yeah,
I love the idea actually of
Yeah.
being able to not proactive.
Yeah, we're not quite
Say
there
that
yet,
excellent.
but yeah. But at least we've got that start where it's 15 people interested, so it's showing something.
Yeah, it looks like it's in the 50s. June was 54.
The person coming in from the website.
Where was that?
It's right at the bottom. It's very. That I was losing it because it was right at the last one.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks for that, Mike. Next one, 260702 to receive an update on all communication content going out for June, July, and August. Rebecca's done that. I think we've got a list of that. Did everybody receive that? No, from Rebecca. If not,
I'm not
we can
sure.
send it out. Okay.
I can't remember. I may have done it.
Okay.
What's that?
Well, just Rebecca's list of what's going out in June, July. 'cause she's
Yeah,
very fast.
well, June advertised at the food festival. OTC update be completed. The OTC update July. OTC update she's writing at the moment. No, start writing 24th of June. And then she's also asked, because twice a year we do quite a slightly larger newsletter. do we want a summer newsletter? That's what she's asked the question.
What did we do last year? We had a summer.
I don't know whether we had spring stroke summer and autumn
Yeah.
last year.
So I propose we don't do anything more this year,
Okay.
given what you said already.
Yeah.
If we did spring, summer last year and autumn winter, leave it like that for the time being. Correct. Let's get the website up next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get everybody,
I think there's some other priorities rather than doing a specialist.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel we've got lots of channels. That's what's concerning me. Lots of channels that we're in. I think additional work to fill up through to the point.
Mhm.
Make us workload. We can minimise unnecessary. Correct. So I would say, no, unless there are things that we deliberately omitted from other channels. But I can't think of.
I can't.
I mean, the newsletter, as it is at the moment, is of a very high standard. There's absolutely no question about that. There's always something on it that you're interested in, and probably something over. So it's of a high standard. So let's sort of leave it
Leave it alone.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, great. Lastly, 260703, Amble Life 6 months trial degree next steps. We did discuss this, did go to the full council, which, because we knew this committee was going to be set up. So the whole concept behind this, if I'm correct, Mike, is that we're now putting the newsletter out on basically, hi Max, we're putting the newsletter on Amble Life and on Amble Advertiser. Okay, so and we're paying for both. And the idea is
I think Amble Life's free.
Life's free, that's right. So the whole idea is actually to stop Amble Advertiser just for 6 months and see if there's any variation and then it's gone. Any further? I know we had some discussion about this previously. We can make that decision now if people are still okay with that. Hold Amble Advertiser for 6 months and then review.
Would it be open to 6 months to decide that it has been and we have it been stated?
I spoke to Stuart, who runs it, and yes, it probably would be. I don't think he would have an issue with that.
Okay.
All right, so we have a nod on that. Who is approving? Yeah. Okay. Any other business for report?
See, there's this one thing I meant to mention around the food festival in back to the OBA intersection. Speaking to one of the shop owners afterwards, she wasn't aware of where the stalls are located. From the years where the stalls have been directly outside the shop, it's been back in the day. But like a year where stalls are not on the street, it's been really quiet.
Where is this?
This is it's a pet shop.
For the food market.
For the food fest. So
The map's already been.
But
it was there. It was just there.
there's every year we have people don't want it outside their shop, and the consensus was that we would always leave their shop fronts open. And I know in the past, pet shop lady, she's had a stall herself outside of her pet shop, and so we leave it up to the shop owners. That's our agreement, that we don't go in front of the shops.
There was no clear direction to this. I just wanted to raise it. Could it be
Mhm.
mentioned to me rather than there?
But that is the clear direction. Is that
Yeah.
the town council do not put stalls directly outside the shop. Keep the entrance clear.
Yeah.
If the shop wants to put a stall outside, that's up.
Mhm. Because we've had a lot of complaints in the past,
Especially from
Okay, thank you. That's
because they feel that they're being shut off.
yes, and also
Yeah.
if there's the shop outside, you selling what you sell. That's really
Yeah. And we've invited them, but that's why it's free. We've said you can come out and sell and do all sorts outside your shop.
The only other AOB I would bring up is that one of the things that was brought up by within the OBA is a lot of shopkeepers said when they had the Vintage Festival, their business doubled on that day sort of thing. Obviously, a lot more people coming into town. Now, we're measuring certain things. It would be good to just liaise with the OBA on that one subject of their members and what they're saying, what they do, because it's good marketing if people are doing that. And if other people are not gaining from the fact that there's something on, maybe we could look at it and and help. Maybe not, but maybe. So at least we're going to get a picture of what's going on as a feedback on the day.
I think it would be okay to share with certainly the ODA committee the British Fair Business Matters report. I don't think I've gone with that whatsoever. And then they can agree, then as a committee they can make a decision what they want to do with that information. So no doubt that would be fine.
Okay. Anything else?
All right, well, thank you very much. Close the meeting for the first party.